Hey guys, it's Di. Welcome back to my channel. It has been so long since I filmed a military related video. By the way, Steven is in front of me mocking me. Anyways, this has been a really requested video and I'm so excited to film it because it's been so long and you guys have so many good questions. Hopefully I'm not being too repetitive with them. Some of them I have answered in the past, so I will put that video up in the suggested box. I'm really excited and I have a feeling this video is gonna be a little long, so I'm gonna try not to talk your ear off, but again, you guys had really good questions, so let's get started. Yes, he is working. They have changed things around for him so that there's less people in the room with him. But he is working, so every time he gets home, we have like this whole system where he takes his uniform off, puts it in the spare bedroom. He takes a shower right away before he tries to hop into bed. As for what the military is doing, there's a lot actually, like Ramstein specifically where we're stationed. What they're doing about COVID-19, it's a lot. I'm not gonna get into all of it, but we do have to wear masks. Pretty much everywhere we go, BX, shopette, commissary, anywhere where you can't keep 6 foot distance from someone. Penelope. So yeah, we get updates literally every single day, which is why I'm not gonna get completely into it, is that things are always changing. They're always adding new things, but they are doing a good job with it. I mean, they're just trying to keep us safe, you know? So I got a lot of these questions as far as like how long Steven also plans on being in the military and where we want to go next. So those other 2 questions, I'm just going to combine them now. I can't answer, and I've tried answering in the past because I just kind of like, anytime we had an idea, I was super excited and I want to share with you guys, but really like military life is always changing and so we're always discussing new plans for us in our future, and now that we're having a baby, things are always changing. So I will answer how long we're gonna be here for. This will be our last full year in Germany. We will be PCSing in February of next year, going somewhere stateside. We don't know yet. We probably won't find out until a few months before we leave. So I will keep you guys updated with that. So I've heard a lot of good things about Larmsey, which is the hospital that I'll be admitted to when babies do. So I'm not nervous about it. My mom will be coming and my mother-in-law will be coming, not right when the baby's born, but shortly after. So I will have that support and I'll have Steven. So yes, baby will be due here in Germany. Someone else actually also asked me if the baby's technically still an American citizen or a German citizen. So the baby will be an American citizen. So because they're born on an American base, they are still considered American citizens. You know what? In this situation, and it's like, you just have to make the best of everything. I was really sad and homesick in the beginning, but I still have so much support, even from a distance, and so I've learned to sort of just like cope with it because there's no changing my situation, and if I were just kind of like mopey about it all the time, there'd really be no point. I want to be happy during this pregnancy because happy mama, happy baby, and that's kind of just how I look at it. And because we're not going to be in Germany for much longer, the baby's due in August, I'm really not too worried about it. It's not like we just moved here and then I got pregnant. We still have so much time. So I think that on top of everything is what's really helping me and not really keeping me sad or mopey, because I know I will be back home with family soon. Even if we're not living in the same state, we will be back in the States, which will just make traveling and visiting family or family visiting us just so much easier. But that's just coming from my own personal experience. Well, I will say I don't really know how I'd handle it. I've never had to go through a deployment with my husband. So just overall, I don't know how I would handle a deployment and him being away. But as of right now, knocking on wood, he does not have any deployments planned, you know, while I'm pregnant or after. So I'm really hoping that it stays that way because, like I said before, we don't have that much longer in Germany, so fingers crossed. Oh, thank you for asking this. How have you been feeling during your pregnancy and how far along are you now? So I've been feeling pretty darn good. I've had a really good pregnancy, a really good first experience. Right now I am 21 weeks and 4 days and I'm feeling real good. So thank you for asking. So if you guys have watched my vlogs for a while, you'll know that around Christmas time, before I even knew I was pregnant, I had talked about the possibility of moving to Washington, D.C. Because of the baby, things changed. D.C. is on a hold unless we get stationed there. Then
October is when we find out.
Yeah, thanks honey. You should be sleeping, but thank you. Steven isn't gone very often. He doesn't have that job where he's always TDY or constantly getting deployed. I have that luxury of having him here all the time. Sometimes it's a luxury. It doesn't scare me because like I said, I think when you have a really good support system, even when it's from a distance, things are just less scary for you because you know you have people to fall back on. And so I only hope for you guys that you have the same thing, because having a support system is just, it's so important. Because with something like this, especially being a first-time mom, I couldn't imagine doing this alone. So I'm really, really thankful for my family and friends and for my husband. Some of you guys asked some juicy questions. So honestly, my only military spouse pet peeve, and I don't like to tear other people down, but this one's legit, is when spouses use their husband's rank as a way to show people that they're important, or like they act like their husband's rank. And I've never had to come across that, thankfully, or things would be bad. But Steven has a story about that, and I'm not gonna get into it. But if I was there, things would have gone down. It's just really embarrassing. Don't be that person. It's like, it's just so ugly to be that way, and I'm that person where I'm like, you should just be kind to everybody. Regardless of your rank, regardless of anything, like just be kind to one another. And so that's honestly my only military spouse pet peeve, is just when spouses act like that. I've talked about this in other videos. The one thing that always just pops up in my head is the one, I can't say regret that I did, because everything happens for a reason and I just don't think you should regret things. But the one thing I probably would have done differently is I would have set myself up in a better way. And what I mean by that is I would have made sure or tried to figure out how exactly I was going to do school or finish school here, or if I should have finished school back at home before I moved here. Because when you move overseas, things can get a little more difficult. Things aren't the same. The resources are still there for you, but there's always an extra step towards achieving something. And so when people ask me that, I'm always like, just set yourself up, make sure that you're good, talk to your spouse about, you know, the future and what it is you guys see yourself doing. There's always the unknown in the military, which goes along with another question that someone asked me, and that's what's the best advice you can give to someone who is going to become a military spouse. And that is just, like, when you do move overseas, or when you move away from home, it can get real easy being caught up with following your significant other instead of thinking of it as you're making a change together. And like I said, that's why it's really important, and why we have so many stereotypes about military spouses not working, especially when they're overseas. Because as soon as they move, and this happened to me too, I was unemployed for a whole year, and it really, really took a toll on me, because I am such a outgoing person. Like, I'm such an outrovert that it really took a toll on me. And so now, well, now with this quarantine and all, I'm not working again, But otherwise, I've had 2 jobs since living in Germany, so make sure that you have yourself set up and that you have things going on for you even when you move, and it's not just kind of like you know, being around the house. Unless you have children, you're a stay-at-home mom, then that's something completely different that I can't talk about because I'm not one yet. So talk to your significant other about it, because you know, you shouldn't be afraid to hurt their feelings for not wanting to come right away and wanting to make sure that you're good, because you are just as important to make sure that you're taken care of in this relationship, because marriage is a team, and when someone feels like they're just taking care of the other person, it doesn't really feel like a team anymore. Me and my husband have even gone through that struggle of one of us taking care of the other, and you know, people will go through that. People will go through phases of that. But it's just important when you have that luxury of setting yourself up and figuring out what it is you want to do, or whether that's figuring it out here, that you do something for yourself. I really hope that I came across that the right way. I'm not trying to offend anyone, but it's something that I wish I would have done in the beginning for myself, instead of having to go through months of kind of like just wondering what it is I should be doing or not working, and like there's just so many things that I wish I would have done differently. But like I said, things happen for a reason, and again, I hope that I answered that in a way that didn't offend anyone, but that is just the truth coming from my own experience. And even if it's harsh, like that's just how I feel about it. Man, oh my god, that's a deep question, honestly. I think in so many ways. I've definitely become stronger because of it. I've always been super family oriented, and so being away from family was really tough for me in the beginning. And then having that isolation when I first moved here, like I said, with not having a job for an entire year, it really made me think about life, what it is I want to do. I still don't have it all figured out, but it's something that a lot of people, I feel like, don't get. And that's why, like, later in life, I think people go through midlife crisis, because they're always so distracted with their everyday routines. And so if you ask any military spouse, like I'm pretty sure a lot of us go through that, is in the beginning, it's just so much quiet time because you're somewhere new, you don't know anyone, you're trying to get a job or not get a job and just do school at home, but then it makes it harder to gain friends that way. So the isolation part, I feel like there's just so much good that comes from it that not a lot of people talk about. And again, like I'll put this in the suggestion box, videos that I've talked about this topic before. Hopefully my camera didn't cut me off, but like I was saying, I talked about this topic more in depth, and I will put that in the suggestion box so you guys can watch it. But yeah, I definitely think it's caused me to be a braver person, a little more comfortable with the unknown. I thought this was a very interesting question. Someone asked, was it hard for you to fit in with other milsos when you first became one? I'm scared I won't. Before I knew anything about like this whole lifestyle, I never thought that military spouses were cliquey. Like that never popped in my head. I'm sure it happens, but I don't think you should look at it like that. I think they're like fitting in with other military spouses, it shouldn't be a thing. I think for me, it's like you guys are all going through this together. A lot of it is, you know, when you're making, like if you're young and you're trying to make friends with other young military spouses, chances are they're pretty new to this lifestyle too. So making friends shouldn't be about fitting in. It's more about supporting one another. And just to put into perspective, I've been here almost 2 years, and I've only really had 2 good friends that I've kept here in Germany, that I've actually spent my time with, gone out with, introduce my husband to, not because I'm against making friends or making friends with military spouses, but because I think having 1 or 2 friends is a great way of building quality friendships, and I'm more about quality than quantity. So I have a lot of like online friends that I've made that are military spouses, so that's cool. But as far as like in person, I will say that I did make other friends while I was working at the CDC. That was cool because I had my work friends and then I had my 2 friends. Well, actually I met one through work, Nicole. You guys know Nicole, but we don't work at the CDC anymore. But that's a great way of making friends also, is getting a job wherever you're stationed. I mean, usually you'd probably get a job off base if you're stationed stateside, but in my case, I'm here in Germany, so I started working at the CDC, made a couple friends. That was nice to have that interaction daily. But then I quit and started working at a waxing center. Still interacting with people, but still just keeping those 2 friends. One of them actually PCS'd already, so I'm down to 1. I'm totally okay with that. You should not be worried about having a ton of friends because, like I said, it's all about quality over quantity. And, you know, I've met more people, but at the end of the day, like sometimes certain friendships just don't work out. Don't be afraid of not fitting in because that's not what it's about. It's about supporting one another while, you know, we're going through this lifestyle together. Trying to live on base, we were on the waiting list for months, and so that just wasn't gonna work. And honestly, like, we wanted to experience this to the fullest, and we thought living off base would be that way, and we enjoy it. We like it. I don't see really any difference. I mean, I've never lived on base, but I had a friend that did. And I don't know, I just enjoy it more. Like, there's trails around our village. I mean, walking around on base, like, you can only really walk through the neighborhoods unless you leave and then go somewhere else. Here, it's like, it just feels homier, at least for me, to live off base and have a house. And yeah, like, that's pretty much why we decided to live off base. It was just kind of easier, and it just felt homier, and we wanted to experience living in Germany to the fullest, and that's how we felt like we could achieve it. So Steven was gone for 31 academic days, but it equated to 2 months because they don't count weekends, they don't count holidays. So that's something you have to put into perspective, whether you're joining or your spouse is joining, is that even if it seems like a short amount of time, they don't count weekends, they don't count holidays, so it actually ends up being longer. But even then, 2 months was really not that long. In Europe, you can get 2. Wherever you're stationed, and then your international license. My German driver's license, I had to take an online course, and I honestly don't remember like the details of it. I'm sure you do.
It's a 200 question practice test and then a 100 question test.
All online. So how long did that take me?
I mean, you can do it in a day. It takes most people, like, you know, a day or 2. I did it in a day. I think it took you like 2 or 3 days. So
it wasn't really difficult, but it is something that you have to read and sit there and actually take the time to do. Steven's trying to eat a freaking ice cream as I'm filming.
Look at it.
They can't see it, baby. Oh my god.
It's all mushy.
I guess I must have not closed all the way. But as for my international license, that didn't take long at all. We had to go into, what office was it? He knows everything. I don't remember anything.
I should just do this video for you.
I know you should. What was the office called that we had to go into?
It's just a German government building. It's like a German government office. I don't know, it's like their DMV.
It's like their
and
DMV?
You pay like a 20 euro fee.
So Steven's gonna explain really quick. Ow! Just say it! Oh, your fat butt. Tell them real quick. Oh my god, you guys, I'm so sorry. Thank you for being patient. This is gonna be just a silly video.
Oh, you're gonna go.
Oh, she ate that ice cream. Can you explain, por favor?
You're not gonna include all this in there. What was I saying?
No, it's my video.
What's the question?
I want you to explain how I got my international license for those who are going overseas.
Oh yeah, once you get your German driver's license in the mail, you have to like go to like the German DMV equivalent. You pay like a 20 euro fee, and then you bring a passport photo, and then they print it and issue it to you right there.
Right, the passport photo.
What's it?
Yeah.
Then you can drive anywhere in Europe.
It was definitely faster getting the international license than it was my German license.
Oh my gosh.
So when I moved here, we didn't have furniture that was ours together. I was living at first in a little like studio apartment, and then I moved in with my mother-in-law. So I didn't have a lot, and so we decided to basically leave the furniture that I had and just bring like my clothes and like necessities, things like that. So we bought everything brand new from IKEA. That was what we did, because we were especially, you know, newlyweds, so we didn't really have anything that was ours. Why are you so awkwardly sitting here? If you're gonna sit here, you need to be in the frame, honey bunny.
I'm in the frame.
You need to be in the frame.
I'm too big, I don't fit.
So, but I do get that question a lot, and this is our first duty station also, so we've never PCS together or anything like that. That's something we've never experienced. And yeah, so I get asked a lot, and that's just the best way that I can answer it. And it's about Penelope, actually.
Mama, the question's about you.
So I get a lot of questions about like, has it been harder having a dog living overseas? And so we got her here in Germany, first of all. This is where Penelope was born, in Germany. Oh, you stop it. She's looking at the neighbor. And in the beginning, it was very difficult to travel because she's just not like a travel dog. We did go to a few places with her, but
yeah, that's not fair. Yes, she is.
We can't go on planes.
No, just not planes, but she's gone on.
But she can't walk for a really long time.
She's gone on four 5-hour car rides. No, she went on a 10-hour car ride when we went to Prague. She came with us.
Yes, honey, but what I'm trying to explain is that
we just can't fly, that's the problem.
Like it makes it harder for sure.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I made friends that I trusted, because we personally don't trust kennels. I'm just that way. I consider her like my child, and so I only trusted 2 really good friends to watch her when we took really big trips. Penelope, hey, that's the hardest part about having a pet, at least in my perspective, overseas, is that traveling gets a little more complicated unless you don't mind kenneling. Yeah, kenneling them.
Or not even just kenneling, but if you have like a low maintenance dog.
But she's very high maintenance.
I have coworkers and I have people that would be willing to
French bulldogs
to watch her and keep her, but yeah, when you have a dog that's super high maintenance
French
like that.
bulldogs are so high. If you have a French bulldog that's not high maintenance, what did you do? Because our dog is so high maintenance, and so that's also another reason why I had to make sure I trusted the 2 people that took care of her and also got to know her before. You know, I just dropped her off at their house. I would bring her over, have them spend time with her. Yeah, we're those kind of parents. We were long distance for 9 months, and that's also another video that I created.
Which is kind of like a deployment, I guess, you know.
Yeah, like
we were apart for 9 months.
Deployments also like
difference that you were at home though, you weren't here. You know.
Yeah,
you were
I had my family and support, but
it was still 9 months.
I did film a video talking about like how I dealt with long distance. So if you want to check that out, it'll be right here. And yeah, it pretty much covers all the questions.
No, you didn't answer one. They asked what good decoration shopping places there are.
You don't even let me shop, so how can I answer that?
That was rude. You gotta answer her question.
Okay.
Woolworth, Poco, Momax, and Depot.
There you go.
See? You're welcome.
Depot?
Yeah, for decorations and stuff?
Depot, where's Depot again?
In K-Town, the one right across.
Oh, that's more expensive, but yes.
So is Momax, but it's still nice.
Yeah.
Mobile Martin, that's another one.
Also kind of expensive.
And IKEA.
Yeah, but that's everywhere.
IKEA's life out here.
So yeah, thanks for calling me out on that. All right, you guys, well that's it for this video. I am so sorry if it was all over the place.
It was better because I was in it.
I have pregnancy brain today, and I'm running on literally 3 hours. 3 hours of sleep. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope it's not like an hour long, but if it is and you have gotten to the end, you guys are just like, if you've gotten to the end of this video, let me know in the comments, because I have a feeling I have a feeling that it's gonna be a long one. All right, love you guys. Bye.